I find the right fit. Picking numbers for their variables whenever it get abstract. Percent changes, the new minus sold in, and that's a fact. 30, 60, 90, special triangle, know every side. SOHCAHTOA when the angle and the ratio collide. Standard deviation, tell me how the data tied to spread. Line up best fit on the scatter plot, I read it, stay ahead. Semicolon, join two clauses that get each end on their own. Comma, special trip, yeah, but the trap, I'll leave it well alone. Subject, verb, agreement, keep the singular in line. Dangling modifier, but put the noun right after every time. Mixing with the numbers, yeah, the grammar is a sport. I've been in the lab so long, every rule is in my court. I know the test now. Every trap, every pattern, I can show it now. Blue book open 2 modules and I own it now. Started in the dark, watch a kid turn it around. I know the test now. I know the test now. Took the thing that I feared, made it bow down. All them quiet nights finally paying loud. I know the test now. I know the test now. Say it proud. Words and context, read the run, the blink, I catch the vibe. Don't need the hardest word, just the ones that clues describe. Command of evidence, point me to the line that prove the claim. Quantitative, read the graph, the freaking data say the same. Main idea ain't the detail, it's the big point of the thing. Inference, I stay inside the text that don't add anything. No question of what the student trying to do, I lock the goal. Match the bullets to the purpose, pick the choice, I play the role. Boundaries, I just find where the sentence start and end. Two text question, how the second author pushback or defend. Process of elimination, cross the two that's clearly wrong. Then I read the lesson close, cause close read it's where I'm strong. Time per question, budget did not move, I never stop. Mark it for review, I circle back, I answer. All started where the practice test was leaving me in tears. Put the work in every night and watch it bury all my fears. I know the test now. Every trap, every pattern, I can show it now. Blue book open 2 modules and I own it now. Started in the dark, watch a kid turn it around. I know the test now. I know the test now. Took the real thing I feared, I made it bow down. All them quiet nights finally paying loud. I know the test now. I know the test now. Say it proud. Yeah, SAT Rap Part 2. Pull up the blue book, module 1 is on the screen. Commas by semicolon, yeah, I know what they mean. Desmo's already open for the math at the scene. Transitions in the chapters, let me break down the scheme. Linear system judges Desmos and watch the lines meet. Type the equations in the intersection, make it complete. Quadratic, come at me, I factor it or vertex it. Or plug in the answer choices until I find the right fit. Picking numbers for their variables whenever it get abstract. Percent changes, the new minus sold in, and that's a fact. 30, 60, 90, special triangle, know every side. SOHCAHTOA when the angle and the ratio collide. Standard deviation, tell me how the data tied to spread. Line up best fit on the scatter plot, I read it, stay ahead. Semicolon, join two clauses that get each end on their own. Comma, special trip, yeah, but the trap, I'll leave it well alone. Subject, verb, agreement, keep the singular in line. Dangling modifier, but put the noun right after every time. Mixing with the numbers, yeah, the grammar is a sport. I've been in the lab so long, every rule is in my court. I know the test now. Every trap, every pattern, I can show it now. Blue book open 2 modules and I own it now. Started in the dark, watch a kid turn it around. I know the test now. I know the test now. Took the thing that I feared, made it bow down. All them quiet nights finally paying loud. I know the test now. I know the test now. Say it proud. Words and context, read the run, the blink, I catch the vibe. Don't need the hardest word, just the ones that clues describe. Command of evidence pointing me to the line that prove the claim. Quantitative, read the graph, the freaking data say the same. Main idea ain't the detail, it's the big point of the thing. Inference, I stay inside the text that don't add anything. Next question of what the student trying to do, I lock the goal. Match the bullets to the purpose, pick the choice, I play the role. Boundaries, I just find where the sentence start and end. Two text question, how the second author push back or defend. Process of elimination, cross the two that's clearly wrong. Then I read the lesson close, cause close read is where I'm strong. Time for question, budget did not move, I never stop. Mark it for review, I circle back, I answer. All started where the practice just was leaving me in tears. Put the work in every night and watch it bury all my fears. I know the test now. Every trap, every pattern, I can show it now. Blue book open 2 modules and I own it now. Started in the dark, watch a kid turn it around. I know the test now. I know the test now. Took the real thing I feared, I made it bow down. All them prior nights finally paying loud. I know the test now. I know the test now. Say it proud.
Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to another SAT live stream tonight. I am John, back at it again. I'm going to be answering questions before the August SAT and also doing SAT questions until I get one wrong tonight. Sorry that I was a little bit late. I was in a call in Mission 1400 Plus tonight, which was okay. There were some interesting problems on that. But yeah, we are back here again. And yeah, so to start out with this tonight, like I did last night, I'll be answering any questions you guys have about the August SAT. Please, please do not ask me any questions like, you know, I'm at 1100 and trying to prove to 1500 in 2 days, how can I do it? Like, I'm obviously not going to be able to help with that kind of stuff. Like, I can't get you like a 100-point score improvement in a day. We're looking for like questions about how to do problems or like specific things here tonight. And if you have any, I would be glad to answer them here. But that stuff, you know, it's too late, admittedly. Okay. Got cooked in the first question. Yeah, I did get cooked in a few of those questions tonight. Well, no, the first question was not that bad. It took me like, the first question was fine. It was just progressively worse. But Amelia Lore, you missed it. You're in Mission 1400 Plus. You could have joined that call. But I'll post a Mission 1400 Plus later, the lore that dropped in the thing. Nobody say in the chat. If you say in the chat, I'm going to ban you. Okay. Real SAT 2 times harder than Blue Book. I'm not sure if exactly 2 times harder. I mean, it is, yes, definitely harder than Blue Book. Okay, you probably did not actually mean 2 times as like specifically 2 times. But yeah, it definitely is harder than Blue Book. How would you rate Blue Book Test 11? How would I rate it? Well, yeah, okay, it is definitely a much more realistic test than the other ones. Like the reading questions, like even has some of those transition questions, like the like weird ones that they've been putting on the new SATs, with like the multi-word ones. They have like some very challenging passage stuff there. For the math stuff in the Blue Book 11, I mean, yeah, they have some pretty solid math stuff. You know, they have like a couple of Module 1 questions I think are even a fair challenge. And then definitely in Module 2, you have some pretty like interesting stuff. Ultimately, I still just don't think it gets really to the same level of the real SAT at the end of the day, you know, because it's hard because, yeah, I mean, it just is, all the Blue Book tests regardless are definitely just significantly easier than the real thing. But it's definitely more accurate than most. Science passages are so confusing. They are. But one thing that I think is really beneficial, I talked about this a little bit in some of my recent videos, is this idea of basically like, you can call it chunking, you can call it anything, but basically just like when you read a very complex passage, let me see if I can find one somewhere around here. One thing that they're going to try doing, okay, I did that one last night, I think. Okay, like this one. It's like, if you just read a whole sentence all the way through, especially for a scientific passage, that's just a recipe for it like not making any sense. Like if I read this entire sentence here, archaeologists have linked this arrived humans in America roughly 13,000 years ago. It's like, I may make sense of that, but likely I'm probably going to get confused and lose something. The way like the brain works, if you actually think about like learning and stuff, is like we chunk information. We take small bits of information at a time and we put it together for a big thing. So it may not make sense to read a whole sentence, especially if it's a long, complex scientific passage. Like if I read, for example, what's one? Yeah, like this sentence here. It's whole thing about mycorrhizal fungi. What is a bit easier is if you instead break it up into just a set of few words each. So you could say mycorrhizal fungi form partnerships. Like, okay, do you understand what that part means? That's a lot simpler than reading this whole sentence. With the roots of lower plant plants. Okay, do you understand what that means? Again, that's a lot simpler than reading the whole thing. And so just go a few words by few words, and that typically is much easier than trying to break through this entire massive thing. So just a really useful skill, useful thing that helps a lot. How accurate are Princeton Review's practice tests got 750 in math? I know they definitely are a bit easier as well. I remember two specifically though, because it's been a while since I've taken one of those. The Gauntlet for SAT prep, I'm not sure what that is. How accurate is the College Board question bank? I mean, I definitely would say the College Board question bank is actually more accurate than the Blue Book test, because you definitely can find some like fairly hard level problems. Like, you know, if you look, for example, like the new ones they just put on for passage questions and geometry, trigonometry, those probably are like closer to the level of the harder problems for the test. So I definitely would say the question bank is a bit better than just doing like any specific question. Okay. Practice test not improving. I mean, there's a million different reasons why that could be the case. I mean, likely, if I had to take a guess, it's just a matter that you're not doing the questions with the right strategy. For example, like Desmos questions, maybe you're not using Desmos where you need to be, or maybe you're not using the right Desmos techniques. For passages, maybe you're not reading them in the way you need to be, and then, you know, same thing. Okay. Predictions for the August SAT. I made a whole video about this, why I kind of hate SAT predictions. I don't think they really have any basis point at all, and it's not even worth saying. This is like a good thing that I saw the other day, and I think this is a very good analogy for understanding what I mean by this. I saw this interview with Christopher Nolan. You know, you may know the Odyssey that he just released, and he's being interviewed by some irrelevant guy. And he asked Christopher Nolan, like, why don't you explain what your movies actually mean? And Christopher Nolan said, one time he did do that, and then as a result, everybody just thought, okay, this is the one for sure meaning of my movie, and nobody felt like they could have any kind of like opinion on it anymore. Like, for example, like Interstellar, like that was the movie he talked about, but he's like, if you said what the ending of Interstellar means, nobody is going to like think anymore about it. Nobody's going to theorize about Interstellar. Even if you tell them that it's just your own opinion, like they still are not going to feel the way. Like as a director, they're going to assume what you said is the intended meaning. And so I think it's kind of the same thing with predictions here. It's like, I could tell you what maybe could be on the test, but the truth is there's just no basis in reality for it. So if I tell you, you guys are going to take it as gospel. You guys are going to assume that this is like for sure what is on the test, and then you're going to neglect everything else. When in actuality, the SAT stays at the end of the day basically the same from test to test. It still involves Desmos heavily, and still involves passage questions heavily, and still involves grammar heavily. Stuff like that is not going to change, and that's the stuff you should be focusing on rather than just like hoping you're going to find some kind of small thing that's going to randomly show up. Try doing Module 2 English backwards. Do you think it actually helps? Yeah, doing it backwards definitely is a bit better. I mean, I think honestly it's just, you might as well just go ahead and do grammar first, and then go to the end, and then go back to the beginning. I'm doing it backwards. I mean, I think the goal with how you should do reading is like putting the easier questions first, and then going progressively harder, just because it allows you. This is the most strategic. You know, if you have to skip any question, you're going to be skipping the hardest questions of the test. And so doing it from back to front, you're basically doing that, though you could be doing it even more effectively by just doing grammar first. I think that's a bit easier than student notes. I did not actually see the Odyssey in fake IMAX. Amelia said that, but that's actually not true. It actually was an IMAX screen. I think she was just a hater. I mean, it was literally IMAX that I saw it in. I mean, that's what they told me at least. I mean, yeah, I think it was IMAX. What can you do last minute to get a prediction of my score? I mean, take a practice test. I mean, there's not really anything better you can do than that if you want an actual like valid score prediction. Okay. If I'm taking less time in Module 2 reading and writing, does that mean I'm getting better, or is it a skill issue? Like if you're taking progressively less time, if that's what you mean, then probably yes. Like, yeah, it's probably, that means you're getting better because you're getting Or skilled at doing the questions right, unless like you literally are like doing worse accuracy, which I don't think you are based off what you've been posting in the community. How do you recommend being on a question before you flag and come back to it later? It kind of depends what like first of all, it depends whether you're on reading or math. But honestly, like the truth with that is just like as fast as humanly possible, regardless, because it's like if it's a math question, I told this I think in the community tonight. Actually, no, I didn't say it in the community, but I said it to somebody else. Is like on a hard SAT math question, if you don't know how to do it, it's very unlikely that you're going to suddenly figure it out midway through. It's very unlikely you're going to suddenly have like a huge big brain moment where you suddenly realize, okay, this is how I'm supposed to do the math question. Your job is to figure it as soon as possible that this is not for you and that you should just skip and go back to it later. And then a similar thing for the reading and writing, I would say as well. So it's, you know, really as fast as possible. I mean, how many stories do you really need of a student who like wastes 10 minutes on one question and gets like a bad score because of it to know that this is, you know, what you're trying to do? I mean, it's definitely a terrible thing. 110, 15, 27, 11, 14. Honestly, I would say that question order is, I feel like it's not really that good, to be honest, just because I mean, if you're doing vocab and passage right at the beginning, and that's like kind of the kind of stuff where you could easily just like take way too much time because it can take a lot of time. Again, you want to put that at the end just because, you know, if it's a harder question, I mean, yeah, like you want to maximize the points you have for sure in the bag. Doing like a bunch of passages and vocab right at the beginning is just going to be rough. Any tip for a person who is misunderstanding questions but leads to a wrong answer? Okay, I think I might need you to be a bit more specific on that because there's like a million different things misunderstanding questions could mean. But I might be missing some grammar stuff because I say the whole month it might still be in the same range. Oh, well, probably the thing with that, I would guess, is that maybe it could be the case that you are not using the grammar rules. Like, it's such a common thing for students to learn all the different grammar rules, but just not actually use it. Because we all speak English. Naturally, your thought process is going to be, okay, let me not actually use anything I learned here and just try to solve it as usual. You really need to try to override your instincts, like make sure every single time you solve in grammar, you're thinking, okay, is this independent clause, dependent clause? Is this main verb, non-main verb, and that kind of stuff. Or NMV. So that's kind of stuff you kind of have to force yourself to think that because your brain is not going to naturally want to do it. What is the most accurate? Probably practice test 10 after that. How to find the new questions on the question bank? It might be available if you just search it. I posted Admission 1400 Plus yesterday. Maybe I'll go ahead and try posting Gamify SAT also after that. I think somebody posted in Gamify SAT. But it's also on Reddit, I think. 1 through 4, 15 through 27, 5 through 14. Yeah, that's better. Like, that's not terrible. I mean, I still don't see any reason why you shouldn't just do 15 through 27 and then 1 through 14, but like, yeah, it's not terrible. What part of reading and writing takes the longest? I mean, yeah, passage questions. You know, questions like 5 through 15 for sure. The ones where you actually have to like read a long thing for sure. Mainly, I'm missing on the passage questions. Yeah, for the passages, it's honestly just pretty much just comes down to the process. Like, I have to be honest, like this is pretty much all of reading and writing, but especially the passage stuff. It's like if you're having an issue, it's not a matter of like, I don't know, it's not a matter of like some other random thing. It's not a matter of you like running out of time and stuff. It's a matter of you not really doing the questions in the right way. I really think there is a right way to be doing passage questions on the SAT. I talk about it in the videos I have here on the channel. It's like trying to see, you likely are just not using like that right process. And if you are, it might just be the case you need more reps with it. You need more attempts using it to really get good with it. Okay, let's see what else we have here. I will not be taking the August SAT. I was kind of thinking about this the other day. I feel like okay, this is definitely kind of cope, but I was kind of just thinking, you know, taking another SAT, I think it could be so good. I think it probably would be a good idea. I probably could increase my score even more from 1550 because really the only thing that's sitting between me getting higher than 1550 is like one, not messing up on one math question. Yes, that would be a good thing. And then also just being more disciplined with the reading and writing. Like, I know exactly what I need to be doing with the reading and writing, but even I fall into the same traps that you guys are of not like doing the right stuff, even though I know exactly what I need to be doing. So I completely accept that as well. Like, so there are some times where I do not use the actual process for reading and writing, and that's really my biggest problem there. But I kind of feel like, if I try to go too much higher, I feel like I want to be relatable in some way. I mean, I feel like if I try to get to like a 1570 plus, that you guys might just, maybe this is definitely cope, but like, I feel like I want you guys to look at me and feel like, oh, he's just like me for real. But actually, that's definitely not what you guys are thinking. Okay. And yeah, if I take an SAT, I'm probably not going to tell you guys anyways. So I get a reading fatigue by the time I get to module 2 with too many reading passages in the end. That's just cope. I feel like I just need to say it at this point. People tell me they're fatigued. It's just kind of cope at the end. Like, the top thing you can try to do to avoid that, though, is use the process. Like, the reason you might be feeling fatigued is you're just reading questions and just like reading it passively. You're not trying to actually understand it. You're just like doing whatever. That's typically what happens. Like, when you actually are approaching the questions the same way every single time, when you have like a very clear process, like, I do this first, do this second, do this third, the odds of you getting fatigued are much less. And if you still are getting fatigued after that, then it might literally just be a matter of practice. Like, you might just need to be doing more practice tests before you get to the real SAT and just like getting more used to the process there, because like you might just not be good with it, or might just not be good with the actual energy you need. Okay. Should you do grammar first on the reading module? Yes, I think so. How much time should you have for all the passages? Yeah, I mean, I'd say like probably a good rule of thumb would be maybe somewhere in like 15 to 20 minutes for the passages. When you're between a comma and no punctuation, how do you tell which is correct for grammar? It's usually the case that, like, if you if it is the word that, or if it is the word because right after the blank, that's usually an indication it is not a comma. In most other situations, it would be a comma. Like, a very high percentage of the time it is a comma, but if it's that or because, those are the two main situations where it would not be. The other big situation where it would not be is just like if it's just like a subject and verb. Like, if I say here, John, actually, let me type this rather than saying this. Like, okay, if I say here, John goes to the store. Obviously, here it would not make sense to put a comma between John and goes. Like, we just have John goes, just subject, verb. And so if you see a situation like that, just know as well you do not need a comma. Okay. Let's see here. You should change mission 1400 plus to mission 1500 plus. Yeah, probably, honestly. It's possible to get from 530 to 600 at least in a day. What I need to do in evening and tomorrow. Oh, well, do you mean a math or reading? How tired are you? Very. On strategies or rules or practice tests? Well, I think they kind of go hand in hand. I mean, I think it's pretty much the, we need the strategies and the rules to actually go through the practice test. But I think it depends where you are right now. Like, if you're down, like, if you're like less than, I would say maybe, oh, this is too big. Okay. If you're less than like 1300 right now, probably strategies and rules is more what you need. If you're like 1300 plus, then still honestly probably strategies and rules, but like at least it makes a bit more sense to be doing practice on actual practice tests. My on-code score is much lower than Blue Book, should be worried. Yeah, some people think on-code is harder, so that probably is fair. But it is honestly a bit more SAT level, I will say at the same time. It's close to SAT level than the Blue Book. So yeah, maybe be a little bit worried about that, but I don't know. Can you give a Desmos masterclass for using Desmos for geometry? Well, honestly, if you watch my full if you watch my full geometry video on the channel, most of the problems I just used Desmos on, so, that I show in that thing. Like, it's not a Desmos geometry guide, but I just use Desmos on most of this stuff. So you can see a lot of like what you need to know from that. But I mean, really with Desmos for geometry, it's like, yes, you should use Desmos on geometry, but it mainly comes to just like calculations. Like, if you're trying to calculate something, like small thing or do a system or a single variable equation, that's when you use Desmos for. There's not like a geometry function on the Desmos calculator. Reading from 530 to 600. Kind of like I said last night, I would just say, yeah, especially if reading is your second language. Possible, definitely yes. Like, yes, it definitely is possible, but probable, I would say definitely not. I don't think there's a very high likelihood. I think the top things you need to do that would just be, as I always say, grammar. So like learning all these specific grammar rules. And then it's not going to be a super big increase in a day, but maybe a little bit just like improving the strategy for passage questions. I mean, those alone could be enough, like genuinely. But yeah, I mean, this is probably the most high leverage stuff. I mean, again, possible, yes, but realistic, probably not. Okay, I think that's the last thing. Okay, no, that's another question. Okay, what's the hardest topic in geometry for the SAT? What is the hardest topic? Well, I guess probably like complex stuff with like area and volume. I think it probably is the hardest by far. Like when you have to use the linear scale factor, I feel like a lot of students really struggle to figure that out. But I might even say this, okay, that's my real answer. But like as for like a quirky answer, it's really just whatever problem type you have not seen much of. Like when you have not seen a geometry and trigonometry problem many times before, it's going to feel hard no matter how much experience you have. Geometry and trigonometry, you really need to be seeing problems to know what is showing up. I did a problem in Mission 1400 Plus. I guess I did 2 problems tonight where I just had never seen the problem before, and I struggled tremendously on it because it doesn't matter how much geometry you know if you see a problem that you just have no experience in. Oftentimes you can figure it out, but if it's something like you have never seen before, that's going to be the hardest thing for you, for sure. So whatever it is for you that you have not seen the most of, or seen the least of, I would say. You have bags under your eyes? Let me check this. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I kind of do. You got outdone by Shawnee. Yeah, so true. Okay. Oh, you meant that question one. Yeah, the question one for geometry. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's get it now. So, as always, I have a freebie in the first 5 questions, then no more after that, unless somebody sends us $2 super chat, in which I will get another freebie. Okay. You have a radioactive substance. Okay, so I guess saying it loses half of its thing every 4 days. So yeah, do I just do this? Should I just like calculate? Okay, so like 1, so 21, so like 1, 2, 3. So it'd be 3 half-lives. So basically 12 days. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Vocab. Let me see if I should zoom in here. So this new thing was praised for being really sustainable, but they say the austerity, so like how serious it looked, the function as a civic gathering place. So it did something to its function that like it's a place where people gather. Forbidding. Okay, so it's forbidding. Okay, so I guess basically hurt the function as the civic gathering place. Yeah, so I think it has to be something like negative here. I think vitiated. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but just like I know these cannot be it. So I mean, it's a good rule of thumb. Like if you know that the other stuff cannot be it, that's really all you can do. Even if you don't know what the word means. But also vitiates. It has vit, which I think maybe means. Tanesh says, "Can I do 20 rupees?" No, not anymore. not anymore with the 20 rupees. It's got to be $2 USD. That's crazy. Okay. Okay, so I just need to make these perpendicular, basically. Okay, in this place it would be. Okay, I guess I need to actually like see where there would be literally be perpendicular. So let me if I do this. So take that and then subtract it from the other side, and then divide each by 2. So divide by 2, and then this here, I guess I can subtract this. So minus 3x. And this divide by. So this would be negative. Actually, okay, that one. Okay, so then based off of this here, we know that k minus 1. So all right, so basically the slope of this one must be 2 over k plus 1. Wait, actually, wait. How? So I would say here. Okay, this is fine. Let me take a best guess here. So which choice is the y coordinate of their intersection? Okay, actually, no, this is definitely not going to work unless I actually find out what the perpendicular thing is. So, okay, if we just... Oh, wait, oh, yeah, I can just go ahead and... Yeah, okay, I can just literally say here, plus 2 divided by k minus 1 times x, correct? Yes, that should work. So 0.05, so that would be 1 divided by 20. Okay, yeah, that was actually a lot easier. Okay, I think that works. So let's try that. Yeah, 1 divided by 20. Transitions. Oh, so they replaced the old motors with these more high efficiency ones. And then the use fell by 15%, so they're using less. So I guess basically just cause and effect here. Yeah, actually, it gotta be as a result. Yeah, pretty simple there. Is this question 5? Okay, yeah, so I get a freebie here. Okay. Okay, so they want to emulate this beetle by creating these surfaces that attract and repel water, so they bring it forth and then also push it out. Such designs have been... Okay, so typically they don't produce that much. All right, so there's a limitation because they can't be cleared enough to make room for the new ones. So then they fabricated... So they did something with aluminum meshes with these micro ridges. Okay, so they coalesce, so they join together, and then they just detach frequently, so like they go a lot faster. The coating while keeping the ridge spacing constant. So they alter what it is coated with, but they keep the ridge spacing constant, so it's still amount of spacing, but just alter what's on it. Oh, it didn't have much effect. But increasing the spacing, so if they make it much farther apart, it did reduce it. So that reduced the collection rates. So collection rates, and I think... Would reducing collection rate be a good thing or a bad thing? Probably a bad thing, I'm guessing. Geometry feature spacing. Okay, so the geometry is more important than the surface chemistry. Okay, that's fair. So why they collected more water? So, okay, I guess just because they use the geometry more to it. Well, okay, it says here that it had, but they reduced it. Okay, so maybe it's like the fact that it needs to be closely spaced. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, it's probably D here. Nesh says C. Well, I think D would be right here just because it says here that they had closely spaced things. Like I'm gonna assume here that a reduced means that it gets worse, and so increasing the spacing reduced it. So I think tightly spaced things would need to be more important here. Yeah, I'm gonna go for that. Yep, and we got it there. Finally, I'm trusting my instinct. I'm not going for what the chat says. I'm believing. Okay, AD bisects BAC. Okay, so these are the same angle basically. And EF is parallel to BC. Okay, that would be important. The value of X. So we know that this is 74, and then this is the exact same thing as there. And then this would have to be the exact same thing as that. So this is 74 and that's that. Oh yeah, do we know anything about it being the same thing? Okay, no, I guess not. Oh, okay, actually no, we see this here, so that'd be 38 as well up there. Oh, okay, this actually works pretty well. Oh, okay. I kind of want to draw some stuff here, but I guess that's fine. So we know that it would be the case that we have 180 degrees. Okay, so let me say that this each of these angles would be y. So then in that case, y plus 38, so that would be 38. So y plus 38 plus this angle here, which would be equivalent to, if we take this here, 180 minus x. So 180 minus x, because supplementary angle rule, this must be that, and then we have 180 minus it, so this, and that would be the same thing as up here. This probably makes no, I probably need to actually be drawing this to make it make sense, but that's fine, I guess. Equals 180. So that'd be this triangle over here. Then for this triangle, oh yeah, it's even easier. We can just say here y plus 74 plus x equals 180. So yeah, I think this should be just fine there. Value of x, 72. Yeah, that is a choice. Now just the part where I try to make sure that I did not completely mess all this up. So just as a reminder, y is this, 38 is this, and then 180 minus x would be this, and then that's a triangle there, and then y plus 74 plus x equals 180. Yeah, I think we... What? 108? Did I completely miss something here? Okay, I guess. Oh, wait, okay, x would not be that. X would be this. Oh, so we have to do 180 minus that. Oh, so this probably would just literally be x there. Or actually, no, that just makes it parallel to it. Yeah, okay, I see here, because x, if it was showing this one, then that would work. But since it's showing this one, that would not be the same thing. So we have to do... Okay, yeah, I guess... Well, yeah, this should still just be x, though, right? Yeah, this is just x, and that's 38. And that's y. And then this here would be y, 74. Oh, no, that would not be x. So this would not be... This would be 180 minus x. Okay, and then that's how we get 108. Okay. Yeah, that's rough. Okay. Yeah, this was definitely an easy question. I just thought it was much easier than it actually was. Okay, short stream tonight. That's fine, I guess. But thanks everybody for coming regardless. I really appreciate it. Lalith, Lalith, who else is here? Shiny, Tanesh, Alan, Larry, everybody else who I do not know. Everybody's got free Chipotle today. That's pretty fire. Wait, what free Chipotle thing were they doing? Oh, back to school, buy one, get one free. That was pretty fair. Okay, that's fine. Well, yeah, I don't think anybody is sending in a super chat right now, so I will see you guys, I guess, again on Sunday night. I don't think I'm going to do a stream tomorrow to try to encourage you not to stay up forever the night before the SAT. I think that's probably a good idea. I think it's a good idea. I'm just guessing here that it's a good idea. So sleep well, actually sleep the night before the test, And good luck to all of you who are taking the August SAT this weekend. I hope it goes the best for you. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay. Thanks so much again. Have a great rest of your evening.
Same test, same stress, different morning. It's for you, Elliot. Alarm ringing 6 a.m., mind already on the edge. Whole week I've been living on caffeine and revenge. Blue book signing that login feel like a jump scare. College board in the shadows, let's see who we cut here. Mom saying do your best, I'm trying to fake a grin. By my stomach running sprints like it's practice in the gym. Walking tests and the kids flexing with the name brands. I'm in a hoodie in my head, beefing my own plans. Proctor up front with that default no fun face. Reading rules from a script that got stuck in place. Monitor glowing, got my whole shot in the glass. Wild how a couple numbers make you question if you're last. This at SAT, yeah, it's pretty mean. Trying to judge my whole life off of tests on the screen. One shot, one run, no pause to rewind. If I panic, I'm done. If I trust, I'll be fine. Yeah, this SAT got my chest on freeze. Every second on the clock, trying to cut through me. But I've been grinding all week, now it's test a day beat. If the curve's trying to kill me, I'ma die on my feet. Marshall 2 loading, little spin, hearts jump slight. If it's looking kinda tough, that just means I did it right. Algorithm trying to read me at my few last picks. Cool, I found way worse things than your math tricks. Switch to math now, Desmo sitting on the right. I don't flex along algebra if the graphs show the light. System of equations, 2 lines, 1 spot where they cross. That's the answer, next question. I'm gone. Right